Hey guys, Kane here, and in this video we're going to cover up the attributes and as well as the hero equipment and what equipment should you use if you're playing a particular race. So, you have to keep in mind I am playing a Rakan race as you can see here. So majority of my equipment, majority of my stat boosters and all that kind of stuff will be based on the heroes that I am using and the race that I particularly play. So if you're playing Lich, of course, you will be using different heroes. If you're playing Dwarf, you will be using different heroes, and so on and so forth. So you have to keep in mind that some heroes will be or have to have different equipment. So again, you have to pay attention to that and you have to make your decisions accordingly. So as you can see, I have almost 4,800 might and also almost 4,800 stamina. Have to keep in mind that I am not spending a lot on potential, and potential can essentially give a huge boost to both of these, as well as I do not have paid artifacts very high star. Now, if I was spending quite a bit of money right now on the game, I would buy those pay to win artifacts and I would upgrade them to 5 star, and these stats would just skyrocket to almost probably 5,000 each of might and stamina and etc. But I'm not spending on the game, at least at the moment, as I recently moved to Lithuania and I'm buying stuff like furniture and all that kind of stuff. So at the moment, my hands are pretty full as it is. So without further ado, let's start with the heroes. So first things first, Rufio. I've made a few videos that I am not using the Rufio. So basically for me, he is just a stat booster. So the weapon is high in might. I have a couple. The helmet is might and stamina. Also, the weapon has stamina as well. Armor has a stamina. And then the trinkets, they're all might and stamina. And also this one increases one of his abilities, which additionally increases stamina as well. Now, I also do not use Avril, so she is just a stat booster as well. So basically, stamina, might and stamina, might and stamina, and also stamina. I will use her in the future, in the very near future, probably like half a month, maybe 2 months, but I am for sure going to insert Avril into my formation in some sort of way. So Valerie, she's one of my DPSs or hero DPS on the field. Currently, since I'm not using Valerie, I'm using a Manila Codex, and the 4th star increases her magic damage. So that is why I use this artifact on her. The rest, the equipment is just based on increasing her damage, based on increasing her skills and all that kind of stuff. And the dragon set, which gives a lot of magic, and as well as the passive, which grants her damage immune for a few seconds. Other than that, the prism, as shown, it's proper. So if you're using a hero for DPS, especially Valerie, like these equipments should be as they are. However, the artifact may change to something else. Now moving to one of the main heroes of the Rakan race is Avalon. The reason why he's one of the main heroes is probably of one of his aura abilities, which is the Ardent Aura, which increases the humanoid unit's health by 46%. Now, you have to use a particular goblet prior to unlocking this, but I'm not sure if I do have the goblet still. I probably got rid of it, yeah. I think I got rid of it, so I am not able to show you that particular thing. Nope. So essentially that one goblet you can acquire in the very early game, and it will still have this Ardent Aura +1, and if you're in the early game you should use that instead of this, as this one unlocks somewhere very deep into the void level. Now, the general set, some other people use a different set. For me, I'm using Rakan archers, which are kind of susceptible to morale decay. So having all of your Rakan archers not morale collapsing for first 20 seconds is very much required if you want to win any PvP and if you want to survive heroes like Valerie, Avril, Rufio, and etc., which will be hitting your backline. So this set very much required, and also friendly units at the start of the battle with higher morale. It's also one of the few weapons you may want to get as soon as possible, I suppose. And this hero is just fully built on getting more command to actually buff the health of the Rakan army. Now, the artifact, I have a Tempering Charm, which buffs 2 Rakan archers, and it gives a lot of command, which also would increase their health. So that is the reason why I'm using him on, or rather it on Avalon, because he's buffing 2 Rakan archer squads, as well as having the Warhorn on both archer squads as well, which for first 8 seconds they do an insane amount of damage. Paired with the Tempering Charm, paired with the Warhorn, etc., the damage is very, very high. Moving further, Alana, I'm pretty sure like the gears are pretty much basic, everything based on command, just simply put for the magic resistance on your entire field, as well as the Silver Wings Radiance. Now, the artifact should change to a particular artifact, which is the Celantris. But I have my Alana in a very, very safe position, which nobody is actually killing unless my side completely falls. And usually if that side completely falls, essentially the battle 95% of the time is over. So currently I'm still using Vega for particular that healing efficacy bonuses and whatever. So essentially I will swap it towards Alana whenever I'm not using Vega, which is the very near future. But again, if you're not using Vega, you have to have Celantris on Alana, so she like 100% doesn't die very early on. For me, 95+% of the time she doesn't die in the first 20 seconds, even 30 or 40 seconds. So it's fine for me. Vega, as you can see, majority of the items are based for buffing her ultimate. The Crossier increases healing effect, then you have the Astral Eye, which whenever she casts increases friendly troops attack, bonus accuracy, and the bonus is doubled for heroes. So this is my first skill, and then the heroes do a lot more damage, as well as the army. And this kind of stacks with like the additional bonuses from Avalon on my entire army and all that kind of stuff. So my early game burst is rather quite high. And then just some passive buffs every few seconds on any of my, let's say, field. Then I have my Virion, which it has damage mitigation axe. Then he has the Dragon set, which grants some regeneration to frontline army. Now, I am not entirely sure how much this heals. I cannot really tell you, but if it heals, you know it heals. So it does something. Then I have a Striding Fati buffing 2 squads as well, and pretty much built for being just sort of a buffer / tank and all that kind of stuff. Nothing really much to see here. Now, I'm using, again, strictly for being as a buffer for the Nature's Blessing and having command to increase max health. Now, the thing is, I'm using this to increase the Nature's Blessing, but you can see the gun pistol or whatever. The reason why I have this here is just might and stamina. And don't think I have at the moment crafted a better trinket which would grant more might and more stamina. Eventually I will, and then I will just replace it with this. Until then, I just use this strictly just for might and stamina and not for any damage whatsoever. Basically, just built for a stamina buffer, might and stamina buffer, as like, again, you don't really need that much command anyway. Deadrin, basically might and stamina buffer through all of these items. Lunella, currently a might and stamina buffer, as you can see through all these items. Gazul, the same, might and stamina buffer. Cleo, majority of what she does for me is the stamina buffer, as well as a buffer in terms of stats, passive buffs, and all that kind of stuff on my two squad archers, or rather archers in the field, which are also close to the Avalon and the all other buffs. Like, two of my archer squads are insanely, and you mean insanely, decked out to the point that they have like friggin' 5 or 6 or even 7 buffs at the same time, and different ones at that. So moving forward, I have Raxius, basically again stamina buffer, then some passive abilities on his skill casts, a dragon set to survive more, and as you can see here, just a an ability buffer. Other than that, moving forward, Rose, might and stamina buffer, as you can see on the equipment. Ophidia, I'm also not using at the moment. Perhaps I will be using in the future just because of some potential upgrades in the future. But again, might and stamina buffer if I don't use that hero. Grims, I am not using him. Again, if you don't use a hero, might and stamina buffer. Gavgar, I'm not using it. He's a gladiator, fully might and stamina buffer. Nora, I'm using her. She's basically decked out DPS for me, level 9 prism, all the best equipment that she can have at the current moment. Everything is here. Jax, I am not using him at all. I will be resetting his level. I will be resetting his level rather soon. Everything that he has is might and stamina buffer. Mako, I'm using it as sort of a might and stamina buffer, but also a buffer of the third squad of Myrakan archers. He doesn't do freak haul in the field, he doesn't do any damage, so I just put a random artifact on him, and Malio's Pride is just 2 stars, so the only thing it's doing is just providing a couple of stats and literally nothing else. This guy doesn't do any damage, so whatever I would put in the artifact slot on him, it wouldn't really change a thing. Other than that, yep, I do believe I just put some equipment for him to increase commands and whatever. It really doesn't do much, like, for me. Perhaps, yeah, I'll just add 1 second. Yeah, I'll just add this here. It's providing a couple more command. Gonna add like 5 more stamina as well, so that is pretty fine. Yeah, basically majority of these equipments is mainly just for command to increase his tailwind, and then a few passive buffs in terms of like the symphony. I have it on a couple of heroes, hoping to increase attack speed on at least a couple of squads every few seconds, but I wouldn't advise to have many of them because they are command and magic, and instead you should probably work towards might and stamina, depending which race you're running. And for the equipment, the Drake, all hero ability cooldowns are reduced by 2 seconds at the start of the battle. This is required on at least one of your heroes just so you can cast your first skill at the very beginning of the battle on a variety of heroes, in terms of Avril, Vega, and a couple of others like Vraxius as well. I think there are a few more, but you get the point. Moving forward, my Denji, I'm using Denji. Currently, he's in the very or close to front line, so I'm using this to weaken attack speed of the enemy units in front of it, as well as sometimes it touches the dragon as well, so the dragon moves slower, all that kind of stuff. Gives a lot of stats in terms of might and stamina. Also debuffs, a proper damage mitigation set, and a couple of equipment from the Gladiator Drake set. Unfortunately, I do not have the weapon to get all skills +1, which would be rather quite good to increase more might, increase the spring ale, all that kind of stuff. Perhaps in the very future I will get it, but I'm not entirely sure at the moment. And for the last thing, I will just raise the deflect. Yeah, so I use him as sort of like an off tank debuffer, all that kind of stuff, with a Valkyrie's banner. Then I have Talk. He is strictly based to buff things. As you can see, I have a lot of let's say command. I'm not really interested in providing might or stamina for him, mainly just command. I have this, which also provides command, and I have the Drake set, the general Drake set, which buffs one random Recon Archer squad, and also all ability levels +1, which is very, very important. And the main 3 skills of Recon are level 10, as you can see here. Again, very, very important. Other than that, I have the Commander's Cape, which lets me tag twice, which is rather quite important because majority of the time you're not going to have the Paladin set, which will provide you the tag because the stats are really garbage on them. So an artifact like this, at least 2-star, very, 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 very decent. Moving forward, Bane. Currently, in early and mid game, Bane is literally like a free morale boost. If you're using Bane, you provide the enemy with a morale boost. There are, in late game, players use it, and like Bane is an insane beast. He doesn't die, can do damage, he can tank like squads of archers, heroes, and whatever. In the early and mid game, this is a free morale boost, and you should not be using it in the fights at all. That is why, for me, he's just might and stamina booster. In the future, like half a year, maybe a year in the future, I will be using them because I will probably be reaching late game or very close to late game in a year's time, another year. So yeah, it's going to take a very long ride. Moving forward, Balrog, I'm currently using him. I don't have any better items. I don't have any better artifacts in the version of the Warmaker's main. So I use all of the equipment, etc. what I have. Currently, I don't have anything with higher attack or whatever. As you can see, spell strength increases with hero attack and artifact level. I don't have anyone else with a high attack, so I might as well just use it on Balrog for now. Balrog is just sort of like a debuffer tank sort of thing with defensive equipment in terms of Drake set, some debuffs if he is hit, and then grants a shield every few seconds, and etc., which boosts mitigation. Mainly just might and stamina equipment. Fenris, I'm not using him, strictly just might and stamina equipment, as you can see here. Sprig, also not using might and stamina. Basric, I'm using it. I have a full Drake set of the rogues. Then I have the bonus attack speed bow. I have a shield, I have a cap which grants a shield every few seconds and also increases his damage if the shield persists. So basically, a small shield every few seconds. I think it's quite good. I don't think there are better stuff at the moment which he can put on. And then I have a coat which grants a lot of stats for rogues, which is very rare in terms of rogue equipment. They don't grant a lot of might, while this one does, so I kind of flawlessed it very early in the game just so he can skyrocket and provide me with additional rewards. Other than that, pretty basic. Now, Floras. So, Floras is one of those heroes that having any stat on her will actually help you out. And the reason is that some of those stats work on helping you to have heroes on your field do more damage and more basic attacks in terms of like command and might. But then you have Requiem, which uses magic and stamina, which increases the healing ratio. So any stat on her essentially will help you out in one way or another. And have one of the +1 equipment so that she would be able to revive an additional hero. If this is level 3, she only revives 1, but I made the level 4 so she would at least revive 2 heroes during the fight. Personally, I think that's a good idea, but I'm kind of trading a few stats as it is, so really depends on the situations, I guess. Other than that, Saizo, I'm using him. Pretty basic equipment, pretty basic rogue DPS sets in the version of like the weapon, the bow, the cap, the rogue equipment, etc. And then you have, I think, Void Stage 100 or 120. One of the equipment which boosts one of his abilities, which is the Blood Hunt, which does a lot of damage. But Saizo, without a very high attack, he's probably one of the more useless heroes on the field. Doesn't do a lot of damage even with these kind of stats. Where was I? And I was almost finished. Currently, I am not using Solaris on my field. Now, there will be a lot of backlash by players and whatever because they're using a late game, and this guy is insanely decked out and overpowered and all that kind of stuff. So currently in the formation that I have, depending whom I'm facing, like if I'm facing humans, if I'm facing, I do believe liches and whatever, like this guy is hit by AoEs and essentially he will fall below a percent or to 0 and he will start that clock ticking, right? So yeah, he's going to survive an additional 11 seconds, but like he still, how can I say, he doesn't provide that much for my field at the moment. I've used it and I've used it a lot and he survived for quite a bit, but he doesn't have what I require on the field, and I swapped Solaris for Kitano. And Kitano sometimes heals like 100 million, sometimes how can I say, taunts a lot of armies, increases the damage done on those armies, heals a lot of my army, sometimes even YOLOs into the enemy backline. It taunts the dragon, which if those dragons have like aura blasts, a greater ability, they will turn in and then reduce a lot of damage from. I feel like there are a lot of nuances like that which Kitano can perform better than Solaris, but don't fret, I will add Solaris back onto my field very, very soon. So this, at the moment, at the point that I am not using it, I just make it a might and a stamina buffer. In the future, I will use it. All of these items will change, but for now, might and stamina buffer. Mira, I'm not using her. All of these items that she has is literally just might and stamina buffer. Then Arion, or Arion, not using him, might and stamina buffer. And then the Kitano, which I am currently using. So I have a weapon, which is the Fair Shot Claymore. He's getting hit quite a lot, and he's also taunting to be hit by the front line and etc. And he increases in massive attack speed, and sometimes like this guy starts teleporting across the entire map. That is why I have this weapon. He has the damage mitigation axe, then might and stamina, then a lot of stamina. I do want to put something like this on, but it reduces a lot of stamina, so it's like 50-50. The thing is, depending who you face, like this additional evade chance is not going to do anything at all. Like, contrary to what people say, majority of the enemy archers have just too much accuracy. I can show in just a second. I have a chance to disarm. If archers would hit him, a chance to disarm some of those archers so he doesn't die in an instant, and then Band of Bishop for his healing abilities. For the artifact, I use this because I have a 3-star. I don't have anything better to put on him at the moment. Other than that, pretty basic. Now for the thing in terms of the evade chance and accuracy. So depending who you're facing, a majority of the time I'm facing like humans or deadeyes. Like, look at their accuracy, 163%. Like, that friggin' evade chance is not going to do you frick all. Like, the thing that I can tell you is that majority of your evade chance is literally capped at like 80%, and anything above 80% is so friggin' hard capped, to the point like if you would get 30% evade chance, it would add like 7% if it's above 80 already. So if you have 80, you add 30%, it's going to be 87 from 80 or something like that. Like, that cap is so intense that it's pointless to actually like get evade percentages, just because accuracy doesn't have this insane cap as the evade chance. So I'm kind of hesitant to equip let's say the Snakethorn chest guard. Perhaps if I do make it flawless eventually and it provides more stats, then I will just equip it just because more stats, and essentially it will increase in a bit more stamina, which kind of I do believe provide in terms of healing. I'm using another set. Yeah, I'm using this set for PvP, and stamina increases the healing effect on surrounding troops, so that is why I'm using it. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and the reason for me actually having so much might and stamina for my core power. Majority of the time, I have actually a lot more might and a lot more stamina than most of my enemies. And again, pretty much it due to my equipment and equipment on heroes that I'm not using. So hopefully this will be helpful to you guys. Probably the video is like 25 minutes long, but quite a lot of players don't know what to do with heroes or equipment, and they're kind of scratching their heads. So perhaps this video will clear it out. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay safe out there.